time. Sister Jean has gotten to be bigger than any of the stars on Loyola. What are your thoughts here on the Loyola run? What are your thoughts on Sister Jean? When I'm seeing Jalen Rose's 100-year-old grandmother trying to trash talk Sister Jean, I wonder, where has this all gone? I'm just an open-ended comment. What do you think of the Final Four and Sister Jean's involvement on it?
Yeah, you know what? It's been an unbelievable run by Loyola, right? But the Sister Jean thing has been great. So, personally, I've got 4 kids at home, 3 boys. They love watching the tournament. And for my 12-year-old daughter, who's not really interested, until Sister Jean comes on.
Yeah.
Hey, Sister Jean's on, and she'll come running from the next room to watch, see what's going on. So it's been an unbelievable, and from a PR point of view, unbelievable for Loyola. So it's been interesting to watch, but honestly, what a run by Loyola and Porter Moser. What a great job he's done with those guys. They are fun to watch, and I think, at least for me personally, and what a lot of guys are saying, because he does it with guys that are there for 4 years and guys that buy into it, guys that work hard. And, you're going against some of these guys that are, one and done guys, just staying for a couple of years. And there's a lot to be said that, I spent 20 years of my career as a college basketball coach. There's a lot to be said for having older guys, that buy into what you're doing. And they do a really, really good job. So they're fun to watch. I can't wait to watch them play a while.
Well, to me, it's sort of like how the Americans won the gold medal in 1980 when Herb Brooks said, no, we're not going to have the players the Russians do, but I can put in a system. And he was helped a little bit when Viktor Tidakov pulled his goalie, by the way, in the semifinal round. But no, and if you ever watched the movie Miracle, I think we can win if we have the right system with the right strategy and all this. I realize it always comes down to the players, but, Loyola, these guys aren't slouches. My goodness, they won the Missouri Valley Conference, and I think that is saying something. And at one time, not long ago, the Missouri Valley Conference was a multi-bid league, certainly when Wichita State was in it. So the point being here, is this getting to be like Olympic hockey, where in the NCAAs a system can defeat the, say, great team like, let's say, Duke will have with a lot of one-year players?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I think you're right. And I think we may see, I had this conversation with somebody a couple of days ago, I think we may see more of these, kind of mid-major type teams that do have a system and recruit a certain way and recruit a certain type of guy and get them to buy into what they're doing, kind of making a run. Again, it's as a coach, be able to work with a guy for 4 years and really believe in what you're doing and get them to believe in the team as a family, it's a big thing. It's hard to do that with a one-and-done guy to really buy into it because they're there looking for the next opportunity. But, and going back to what you said, though, Loyola, they are in those classes. It's not like you have a bunch of farmers off the street and, kind of put it together and they're winning because of the system. I read the other day he's got 7 guys on that team that have won high school state championships. Mm-hmm. One other guy who won a state championship in Canada. So, you're bringing in the right type of guys who know how to win from winning programs and put them into your system. So, a lot of credit to him, but a lot of credit to the players, too. They are good players that have really bought into this system.
There's something to be said for, bringing in guys from winning teams. I mean, there might be that hint of, okay, this is someone who's willing to have a little more teamwork or something than, say, an individual who, I don't know, scores 30 points a game in his AAU team, but it loses every game or something like, why didn't you pass? That sort of thing. You're a point guard for crying out loud. We lost 100-30, but you have 30 points. Anyway, I'm taking up time from Adam Nelson of hoopdirt.com, but I guess that's one of the reasons why I get excited these days about Southern Conference basketball. Now, although they lost in the first round, I mean, Greensboro did put up a strong effort in their NCAA tournament game, losing only 68-64. I think the Southern Conference, I mean, I know the RPI has them as the 16th ranked conference. If that's the case, well, I think the 16th ranked conference is pretty good. Maybe it's even a little low by my eye test. I'll say that, Adam Nelson. But where I'm going with this is the Southern Conference has always had a reputation for producing good coaches to higher levels, be it Norm Sloan, be it Lefty Driesell, who is now going to be in the Naismith Hall of Fame, or from an ETSU standpoint, Ed DeChillis, Sonny Smith, and Les Robinson, who just made the Southern Conference Hall of Fame. Question that I want to ask is, do you think that all the Southern Conference coaches, people talking about Steve Forbes, people talking about Wes Miller, are safe, or could there be any late, firing, a Bruce Pearl or something like that, that might have a SoCon coach plucked away?
Well, that's a good question. I think, like you said, I'm a big fan of the Southern Conference. I think you've got some really good teams in there and some really good coaches. And I think the ADs in that league are no dummies either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look, Wes Miller just signed a contract extension with a little bit of a raise. Steve Forbes got a new deal where he's making pretty good money, which we can talk about some of these other jobs that he's sniffed around at where, he's looking at the same type of money. So I think ADs are smart enough to know that they've got good coaches and are smart enough to give them deals that are going to keep them happy and keep them where they are. And I think another part of it, too, with Wes Miller, but really with Steve Forbes, in my opinion, is I think he's found a situation where he's comfortable. A situation where he's getting paid really well as the highest paid coach in the league, a place where he knows he can win, and you've got that job security, because you know his background. I mean, he ran into some issues, he was out of it, got himself back in. But talking to people around him and talking to people I know, he really truly seems confident. He's now getting compensated, way more than any coach in that league. And like I said, he kicked the tires on a couple of jobs here, but, those jobs, in conference, don't pay more than he's making. So, a guy like Steve Forbes, I think, is a really good situation. Wes Miller, a little different. He's not making as much. He's making just over $300 a year.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be there for a little longer. He'll get something.
Yeah, $650 to I think $301 are the base salaries, and that's not even including the sneaker contracts or whatever at for Forbes versus Miller. And Miller's a little younger, and all this. So that might be a reason also why UNCG. Plus, I wonder if UNCG really does have the budget that ETSU has. And I know that I like saying that, because for how many years did we have to hear that ETSU was underfunded here in the Tri-Cities? I'm talking to Adam Nelson of HoopDirt.com. You mentioned that Forbes kicked the tires on a couple of programs. We know last offseason he interviewed at New Mexico. He was rumored to have been offered the job at UTEP. A newspaper over in El Paso did report that, I believe. And if you read the internet and those rumors, which are, then he also was offered the job $1 million a year at Middle Tennessee State. Okay, I'm not willing to go on an internet rumor on that. But let me just ask, first of all, MTSU and Steve Forbes, was there a courting? Was he a serious candidate there?
You know what? So according to the people I've talked to, he may have kicked the tires, they may have reached out, but he was not, at least from what people I've talked to, he was not in the final five there.
Okay.
I've got, and to be honest, in order, they did talk to five guys, and kind of went down the line of where they wanted to go with Travis Steele, who's the associate coach at Xavier, was their number one guy, who pulled himself out as soon as this kind of Chris Mack of Louisville started. He wants to be the next head coach at Xavier, so that's a smart move. The next guy they really wanted was Ryan Odom from Baltimore County, obviously a really hot name after beating Virginia this year. But Odom wasn't ready to move, and they were going to tie him up in Baltimore County and make it worth his while. So Nick McDevitt was really the third guy. The other guys they talked to, I think John Brennan from Northern Kentucky interviewed, and they did interview one of the men's high school teams. That, according to my sources, that was their final five. And going down the list, it came to McDevitt, and he said yes. And it's a good deal for him, and he's making $725, $750 now. It's a good move for him, but I don't believe the Forbes was in that top five.
Okay, what about UTEP? We read from credible media sources, although they never would come on here. They always tell me their schedule didn't work on Tri-City Sports now, that sort of thing, that Forbes was offered the coaching job at the Miners. However, from what I was told, it wasn't all that big of a pay raise. What was the deal there?
Yeah, I'll tell you that, honestly, I don't believe it'd be a pay raise at all. Rodney Terry took it for, I believe, the same $650 he was making at Fresno State, which I believe is the same $650 that Steve Forbes is making. And again, according to my sources, yeah, Steve Forbes was one of 7 that were interviewed. Whether he was offered or not, I don't believe he was. I think out of that group, the final 2 were Ray Harper from Jacksonville State, Rodney Terry from Fresno State, who eventually got it. But that was a good group. Randy Ray from Weaver State was in there. Joe Dooley from Florida Gulf Coast was in there. Greg Foster was an alum, an NBA guy. So it was a really good group of guys. That, he was in the mix. But again, that's one where, even if offered, which I don't believe he was, why would you take it? I think he's in a really good situation where he is. Especially, he knows he can win where he is now. And I think he can win for a while there. When you kind of going into a situation, you don't know what's ahead. You don't know how long you could be there. But again, I think he's definitely in the mix. I would confirm that he was offered by any means.
Okay, and for that matter, although I realize that UTEP is a historic program with a national championship under their belt, the first all-black starting 5 beating Adolph Rupp's all-white Kentucky team in 1966. I mean, we know that story. I would also point this out. The Miners haven't won a game in the NCAA tournament since 1992. ETSU hasn't won a game in the NCAA tournament, Adam Nelson, since, guess what year?
1992.
Very good. So again, and we can talk about, is the Mountain West or so, is that significantly a better conference than the SoCon? We can discuss this. I guess they don't have a couple of service academies to drag them down, but even so, is it really something that you're better at, where you'd have to reestablish yourself, move, and not a pay raise of any significance? I don't know if it is. And you might be losing, it's El Paso. You might be beneath the fold for bullfighting or something of that nature. We're talking to hoopdirt.com's Adam Nelson here. I'm Mark E. Bilson on Tri-City Sports Now. So the other question, though, that I want to ask, and when we look at Steve Forbes, who has told me outright, everybody I talk to says, don't comment on jobs. So, Marky, I'm not going to comment to you. What I want to know, though, is he's now going to be 54 years old next year when you figure the next round of coaching hires will be, if they're all done this year. And I will ask if there is a chance that any other jobs could break. But, 54, Craig Meyer wrote a very interesting story. We had him on. It's a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette sports writer about, when you get to that age, basically, you're not all that high up on the totem pole for potential schools anymore. And he did say there have been some, but usually they're people like Rick Barnes who really established, or, being Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, he mentioned Keith Dambrod, who's the Duquesne coach, but his dad had played at Duquesne, and he'd coached LeBron James. So, this was also kind of a convenient aspect. ETSU, they have lost some coaches, but, Ed DeChillis and Les Robinson both went back to their old alma maters. Steve Forbes isn't going back to his NAIA alma mater unless he's fired here somehow. So, my question is this. Do you really think that Steve Forbes would leave ETSU in the future?
You know what? Honestly, I really think he's in a good situation.
Yeah.
I really think he knows it. Like you said, you get to a certain age where maybe you do become a little less marketable, but I think you also become a little bit more mature, and you understand what's going on and who you are and where you belong. And to be honest, I think Coach Forbes really belongs there. From what I hear, he's got a great personality. He's great in the community. People really like him there. He's found a really good home. And like I said, I was running around this racket for 20 plus years. It's hard to find a really good home. And you do get to kind of that point in your career and that age where if you find a good place, you can be there for a while. Why? What's the point of chasing a job? I looked to Towson, for example. Pat Skerry is a good friend of mine, the head coach at Towson. He came up the ranks pretty good from small college assistant at Northeastern, College of Charleston, URI, Providence, Pitt. Got his first head coaching job. He just signed an 8-year extension to stay at Towson because it is such a good place. It's a good place for his family, and he realizes that he's in a good spot. And here's a guy who mid to late 40s, maybe would have a sniff at a high major thing, could get in the tournament, win a game or two, but he's really committed to a place like Towson. Much the same way I think Coach Forbes is at ETSU, where he's found a good home. And this business is so tough. I mean, there's so much pressure between the recruiting and the pressure to win. It really takes a lot out of you. But if you can find a place where and you never want to be comfortable, but a place where you're comfortable enough, where you know you're going to win games, you know you're going to be successful, you know you're going to get paid. I think he's in a good spot. To be honest, I mean, these jobs we talked about today, UTEP, Middle Tennessee State, lateral moves, maybe a little better, sure, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a lateral move. So I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay, I agree with you here, Adam Nelson of HoopDirt.com. I wanted to, though, ask you, what do you know, if anything, about Tusculum's new hire, J.T. Burton?
I tell you what, that's a great hire. He's been a coach at a Tennessee junior college, won a bunch of games. Coming from a D1 school, coming from one school, he really wasn't there very long. He's not a Division I guy. He's a small college guy. He's got a big personality, and he can recruit. He's going to bring guys in. I know he's going to kill the state of Tennessee. He's going to go get players. He's going to bring in some junior college kids with some background. I'm sure he's going to get some Division I transfers. But I think it's a really good hire. He does have that little bit of Division I experience, but he's proven he can win at the small college level. I think that's exactly where he belongs. I think he's really successful there.
I'll go and ask you right now, do you foresee, I guess it's kind of like Steele is going to be the Xavier coach, unless if I've missed the announcement or so, or if there's somebody still in the running, let me know. But I mean, I sensed when he turned down MTSU that's what he was bracing for. No, I want Xavier. That's a better job. And, Mac's going to go to Louisville and all that. Is there any big name coaching hire still left on the board, something that people ought to continue to look at?
I think there's a bunch still out there, and a couple of smaller ones may still open. I think one that a lot of people have been watching is East Carolina.
Yeah.
Because that place has obviously been a mess where Coach Lebo was out in November, then the AD goes in March, and then the former AD to help with the search along with Dave Odom and his group, and they still haven't hired anybody. So that's just, it's been a really kind of interesting search to watch. So I think that's an interesting one. Texas Arlington obviously opening is a crazy one. Scott Crawford just all he's done is won for the last 3 years there. So there's still some good jobs on the board. Like you said, Xavier, that's going to go to Travis Steele. That's when he didn't go to Middle Tennessee State. I think that's probably the last real big one. Like I said, I don't see anything else really big opening up. Obviously Rhode Island still has to hire. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, especially with East Carolina. It's been a very odd search to follow.
You're in HoopDirt.com, Adam Nelson. Does Holly Warlick get too much criticism at Tennessee?
You know what? I'm not as tied in over there, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But you know what? It's so hard to follow a legend.
Yeah, I think that's why they criticize her. And to be honest with you, I say, you know what? They never won a national championship without Warlick either, and this is one of the things that I do try to point out to my audience. But do you have anything else other than, tough to follow a legend? I know that people have said Tennessee could shoot better from the outside, but she has brought in good recruiting classes. Do you have anything else than it's tough to replace a legend?
No, it's really hard to replace legend. It's so hard to win at a consistent level, especially at the high major level. You're going to go to your kind of peaks and valleys. But I think she's in a tough spot there. And it's funny, and I talk to a lot of coaches, all day, every day, and a lot of young coaches, and a lot of guys who are looking to take jobs, especially some of the smaller colleges. And I tell them all the time, if you're looking to take over a program that just went 30-5 and won 2 games in the national tournament, be prepared that pressure is going to be on for you to win. But if you're going to take a job that was just 5-30 and hasn't gone somewhere in a while, hey, you go from 5-30 to 15-15, you're going to be a hero. So some of those jobs, you're almost, some of these guys are almost being follow somebody who's been really good for a really long time. So I think that's part of what's happening there.
What is the name of the Ohio State assistant who I believe was just named at South Carolina Upstate?
Yeah, so Dave Dickerson, actually, he spent the last year with Jazz. He wasn't at Ohio State. He was there up until 2017. Very safe hire for USC Upstate. Again, another job which a lot of stuff is going on there. It has not been a pretty search. The coach Kyle Perry was fired. There's going to be probably a lawsuit there. There's no AD. There's an interim AD, and focus helping with the search. Really messy search. Decent job we paid between 150 and 170. Something there's an escalator clause where we're like $10,000 a year. But Dave Dickerson is a really safe hire. Spent 7 years at Ohio State. Before that, he was the head coach at Tulane. Spent 5 years there. Was okay with 500, a little below 500 Tulane. You know what? He's a South Carolina native. He's a really good guy. They're not going to have any problems there, which is really, really safe hire there.
With the Spartans joining the Big South, I pay attention because they used to be an ETSU conference rival. And I want to ask this, and it's a two-headed question, but is there a chance for Upstate to win in the Big South? And is there a chance with Mark Prosser for Western Carolina to be something other than just mediocre, finishing middle-of-the-pack Southern Conference with their new coaching hire?
Yeah, I think I like Mark Prosser a lot.
Okay.
Good kid, obviously from a coaching background, from a coaching family background. I think he can do a good job there. He's a young enough guy where he's going to run around and really recruit, and that's what you can do. Whether you can recruit there or not, I don't know. I think that's what
It's the middle of nowhere, yeah.
Well, no, that's why I think I think they hired the right guy. I think that's what they need. It's kind of a young, energetic guy, a basketball guy who can he's going to work. He's going to work his tail off. It's just a matter of can you get it done there. So I think he'll make them more competitive, I would assume. And then can Upstate actually win games? I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, I mean, Dickerson's a really safe hire. I think he can recruit. He's a little older, South Carolina guy. Maybe that helps. But again, that's a really tough situation right there, especially without an AD and all the stuff going on. So hopefully he has the support he needs, and hopefully he can get it done at a really, really tough spot there.
I've gone too long because you're a fascinating conversationalist. Adam Nelson, hoopdirt.com on Tri-City Sports Now. All right.
Furniture store since '94.
Let's see here. Who's your final four picks? Who do you like coming away with the titles?
I think Villanova is so good. I mean, they score. Like they're so hard to stop. So I can't see them losing, but I don't know. What do you think?
Villanova and UConn certainly, like to see Loyola make it at least to the final, that sort of thing, have that Butler run, especially because, Michigan Michigan is now behaving a little bit more like Michigan, in all this. And so, the team of Bob Newhart, come on. How do you not root for them? That's it. I like. Where did you coach at? I wasn't aware of that.
I've been all over. I was at Northeastern. I was at Holy Cross.
Okay. Holy Cross. Now that is something that's prestigious, right there.
To tell you what, one of my most favorite places I've been at. One of the best jobs I've had. The Patriot League's great. Very, very prestigious school. Some alumni, Bob Cousy, Tom Heinzen. Really cool place.
Yeah, it's 47 national champs and all that and such. And so, I was just watching the 30 for 30, in fact, on the Boston College point shaving scandal. And Holy Cross is a 3-point favorite here over Boston College. And I know Boston College down the ACC has had their struggles, but you just started thinking about, and to me, 1979, I know I was 8 years old when that happened, but that's like when I got involved in sports. That's when I really, and so I'm like, to me, Willie Stargell is still alive. And I watch Terry Bradshaw every Sunday, right? That's the thing. And so, I'm like, say, holy crap. And it's hard for me to believe that's 40 years ago. It's really hard for me to believe that. But I look at it and I just say to myself, yeah, Holy Cross, a favorite against Boston College. Yeah, that wasn't that long ago, and really it kind of was, but...
I hear you.
Yeah, you know, and all that. But I know Ralph Willard took it to the NCAA. I just, you know, I've always wondered that if the administration there ever said, damn it, we're Holy Cross, you know, or something, if they, and they wanted to put more money into it, if they felt that that was the university mission, if they could be a great program again. I guess I've always wondered that, you know, or are they, you know, or are they destined to go to the way of Yale football, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's always been a question. When they didn't decide to, you know, when they didn't join the Big East in the 80s or whatever, and I think that was kind of like, you know, they just put a little bit of money in now. They just built a new practice facility, so maybe they're getting there, but yeah, I don't think that's their plan.
I was disappointed Gordy Lockbaum didn't make the Steelers. I was really rooting for him. Yeah.
That's good. That's a good name from the past.
Yeah, I was really rooting for him as a 10th round pick under Noel that year. I thought, yeah, I'll be all purpose back right there, you know. Anyway, hey, it's a pleasure, and we'll try to do this again real soon. Okay.
Ashley, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, my pleasure. Bye-bye.